Okay, hello, I'm back with the worksheet for supply and demand for us to solve it together. So let's do this together. All right, I hope you're fine. Let's start with the true and false questions. Okay, number one, it says what? The law of demand is when the quantity demanded falls بتقل as prices increase, other things being equal. Is this true or false? Now we know when we talk about demand, as your quantity demanded decreases, your prices will increase, right? Or in other words, لما السعر بيزيد, people buy less. So this is a true statement. Okay? Number two. So this is true. You have the answers with you, I believe, but we can write them for you. Number two, a demand curve is a graph that shows what? The relationship between price and quantity supplied. Is this true or false? This is false because the demand curve shows the relationship between price and quantity demanded, not supplied. Okay, number three, according to the law of demand, only the price of goods influences the amount people will choose to purchase. Is this true or false? Okay, now the price, what did we say if you remember? The price causes a shift or a movement. The price causes a movement along the curve. But you have factors that cause shifts along the curve in your demand, such as income, prices of related goods, number of buyers, and tastes. So actually, this is a false statement. All right? Okay, next. Number four. Movements down the rows from A to E on your, this is a demand curve, are represented by movements along the demand curve. So you have these points A, B, C, D, you have the price and you have the quantity. So as the price increases, your quantity demanded will decrease. This is a shift or a movement. This is basically a movement. So yes, this is true. Okay. Next, number five, an increase in people's income will cause the demand curve to shift to the right. Now here, this question is a bit incomplete actually, because it's not telling me whether my good is a normal good or an inferior good. So I can actually add here to make it make more sense that you have a normal good. If your income increases, this means that if you have a normal good, your demand curve will shift to the right. This is a true statement. Okay, number six. The law of supply is when quantity supplied falls as prices increase. Let's look at this. Is this true or false? Now, when we talk about supply, we're thinking as what? We're thinking as firms. Now, what's the main goal of any firm? To maximize profit. So as prices increase, they will supply more. So the quantity supplied should also increase in order for them to make more profit. So this is actually false. Okay. Number seven. Suppliers will supply more of a good when the price of that good rises, because the opportunity cost of not producing that good has also increased. This is actually a true statement. Number eight, an improvement in technology. على طول. Improvement in technology is the right shift or a left shift in supply. It's a right shift. It's an increase in supply. It's not to the left. So this is a false statement. Okay. All right, number 9 here, what do we have? At a price of $3.50, where is $3.50? It's right here. Okay. The quantity supplied by the market. Now, how do we calculate market supply? We calculate market supply by adding all the individual supply curves. So we have Anne's supply, Barry's supply, and Charlie's supply. So that's at a price of 3.5. The market supply will be what? 7 plus 5 plus 2. 7 plus 5 is 12 plus 2, that's 14. So is this true or false? It is true. All right. Okay, number 10. When the quantity demanded is greater than the quantity supplied, the resulting shortage causes the prices to fall. What do we have here? What do we have here? When the quantity demanded is greater than the quantity supplied, what do you have? Okay, now when my quantity demanded is greater than quantity supplied, am I below the equilibrium or above? I have a shortage, so my price is below equilibrium. What should I do to go back to equilibrium? I have to increase price until I reach equilibrium. So your answer is false. I do not decrease price, I increase price. All right? Okay, let's look at the MCQ questions. Question number 1, refer to the graphs shown, the curve that best demonstrates the law of demand. The law of demand is represented by 1, 2, 3, or 4. This is, number 4 is a representation of demand, so your answer is D. Okay, there's an inverse relationship between price and quantity demanded. Number 2, refer to the graphs shown. If the quantity demanded by consumers is the same for every price, then the demand curve will look like what? It says what? This is a tricky question. The quantity demanded by consumers is the same. So here the quantity does not change, even if the price changes. So is this represented by this or this or this or this? Look at number 1. What's not changing here? Price or quantity? Price is not changing. They're asking me if the quantity demanded by consumers is the same. It does not change. So actually this is number 2. You have quantity here. It's fixed. It does not change right here. But the prices are different. So your right answer here is B. Okay, question 3. The explanation for the law of demand. Law of demand involves what? Suppliers? No, when we look at demand, we're thinking as consumers, so A is not correct. B, consumers' ability to substitute different goods? Yes, this is correct. C, the government's ability? We don't really care about the government. The market's ability to equate supply and demand? This is equilibrium and not the law of demand. Okay, so your right answer here is B. Okay, question 4. If the price of chicken increases, and the price of beef does not, consumers will respond by, so these are substitute goods. You have chicken and you have beef. When the price of chicken increases, what will people do with beef? Will they buy more or less beef? They will buy more beef, and therefore they will substitute beef for chicken. They will buy beef instead of the chicken. All right. And so basically this means that the demand for beef increases. Okay, question 5. the distinction or the difference between demand and quantity demanded. What is the difference between demand, which is represented by D, and quantity demanded, which is represented by QD? Demand, if you remember the D that represents the curve, the graph, QD are points on your curve. So demand is represented by a curve and quantity demanded are points. This is basically A without even having to read the rest of the answers. Number 6, which of the following would cause quantity demanded to change without changing the demand curve? Quantity demanded. على طول أول ما بشوف quantity demanded, I know that this is a change in price or a change in the factors that shift demand. This is a change in price. If you remember, we said that a change in price is the only factor that causes a movement or a change in quantity demanded. Okay. All right, number 7. Refer to the graphs shown. The effect of an increase in price on demand is best shown by what? Again, an increase in price. This is a shift or a movement. Again, same thing. This is a movement. An increase in price will be what? This curve or this curve? A movement. It's right here. Let's border it. Okay. Your answer is B. Okay. All right. Next question. 8. Refer to the graph showing the demand for books. So here you have the price of books and here you have the quantity of books. A movement from E to D is caused by what? What happened from E to D? Prices decreased from 16 to 12. You have a decrease in price from 16 to 12. So this is your answer right here. Okay, the law of supply. Supply, we're thinking like who? Like firms. Firms want to maximize profits. So as prices increase, they will make more profits, so they will produce more and supply more. So there is a direct relationship between quantity supplied and price. Number 10. Refer to the graphs shown. The curve that best illustrates the law of supply is, which one of these is the law of supply? 1, A, B, C, or D? It's C, right? This is the supply curve. Number 11. If the quantity supplied is fixed, again, this is like the same question we had for demand, but for supply. If the quantity supplied is fixed, which one? A, B, C, or D? The answer is B. Quantity does not change, but prices change. Okay. The distinction between, okay, the distinction or the difference between supply and quantity supplied. Again, supply, this is the curve, it's represented by S. The quantity supplied, these are the points on your curve, and these are represented by quantity supplied. Okay, is basically what? The quantity supplied is represented by a curve, and supply, no, this is not correct. A is not correct. S, supply, is represented by a curve, and quantity supplied is a point on the curve. Yes, this is the right answer, B. Okay, number 13. Refer to the graphs shown. The arrow that best shows an increase in supply. Increase in supply. This is a shift or a movement. This is, it's not quantity supplied, that's S, it's the curve itself. So we're shifting the curve. So your right answer will be an increase in supply is what? Z or Y? Right shift is Y. So your answer is C. Okay. Refer to the graphs shown. The arrow that best captures the impact of a decline in price. This is a shift or movement. It's a movement, and it's represented by what? A decline in price. Prices have decreased. This is X, right? So your answer is X. All right. Now here, given the following individual demand table. So we have an individual demand table for a person A, person B, person C, and person D. And we have the prices. And they're asking me to calculate what? The market demand. Okay, how will I do this? How do you calculate market demand? You calculate market demand by adding all the individual demand curves. So let's, okay, insert. Okay, so we have price, half, $1, $1.50. Okay, let's do this. Rows below. Okay, 2, 2.5, 3. And I need to get the market demand. How will you get the market demand? Add the demand for person A plus the demand for person B plus the demand for person C plus the demand for person D. So at $half, your market demand is what? Person A, quantity demanded is 5 plus 6 plus 10 plus for person D. 5 plus 6, that's 11, 11, 21, 21 and 8, 29. Okay, at $1 you have 5 plus 5 plus 8 plus 7, 25. Okay, at 1.5 you have 5 plus 4 plus 6 plus 6. That's 12. 21. Okay, I hope that you're doing this with me. At a price of 2, you have 0 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5. So you have 7 plus 5 is 12. At the price of 2.5, person A's quantity demanded is 0 plus 2 plus 2 plus 4. So you have 8. And at a price of 3, you have 0 plus 1 plus 0 plus 3. So you get 4. This is how you do it. And then you can basically graph it, such as here. Where's the graph? It's right here. We can put it here. Okay, after you find them, you can get your graph. Okay, graph it right here. You can practice this at home. Okay, let's look at the next question. Consider the supply and demand schedules below to answer the questions. So you have price, you have quantity demanded, and you have quantity supplied. Okay, question A. In a free market, what will be the equilibrium price? So what do we mean by equilibrium? Equilibrium is when you have the same price and when quantity supplied equals quantity demanded. Let's look at the prices and see when supply and demand are equal. Look at the price. When the price is 5, quantity demanded is 5 and quantity supplied is 5. So here, equilibrium price equals 5. Equilibrium quantity is 5 as well. This is when quantity supplied equals quantity demanded. Okay. What will the equilibrium quantity demanded be and equilibrium and quantity supplied? We just said this. The answer is quantity demanded equals quantity supplied, which equals 5. Okay. Okay, now question C, D, and E, we need to actually graph. So let's graph this together. I will not be able to give you like the real numbers, but we'll try to do this as simple as we can. But you can, when you graph it at home, please graph it with the numbers. It will make more sense to you. So we have, okay. This is the X, this is the Y. And then we have demand. Okay. And we have supply. Okay, and we have the equilibrium price right here, and equilibrium quantity right here. Okay, let's see. This is price. This is quantity. We all know that. Okay, this is equilibrium. Okay, this is equilibrium price. And this is equilibrium quantity. I know that my equilibrium quantity is what and my equilibrium price is what. Go back here. We said what? Equilibrium price is 5 and equilibrium quantity, when quantity supplied equals quantity demanded, is also 5. So you have here your price is 5, equilibrium price is 5, and equilibrium quantity is 5 as well. Okay? All right. Now, question C is asking me what, when the price is 2, what problem would exist? Now, when your price is 2, are you above or below equilibrium? Are you above or below equilibrium? Okay. Price, question C. Let's just do this. Okay, let's put question E first because we just answered question E. Just give me a second. Okay, if the price is 5, what problem would exist? The price is 5, this is equilibrium, okay? We don't really have a problem. We are in equilibrium. You have equilibrium price and equilibrium quantity, okay? Now, question D, when the price is 2, what will you have? When the price is 2, you are below equilibrium. When you are below equilibrium, what does this mean? Do you have a shortage or a surplus? You have a what? You have a shortage. When you are below equilibrium, this is at 2 right here. Okay, so let's go back at the price of 2. What's quantity demanded? It's 8. What's quantity supplied? It's 2. So which is bigger here, quantity demanded or quantity supplied? Quantity demanded is bigger than quantity supplied. يبقى أنا هنا عندي نقص في السوق. الناس طالبة منتج والسبلاي قليل. طب المفروض أعمل إيه عشان أرجع للإكوليبريم when my price is 2؟ هزود البرايس until I reach the equilibrium price. And I don't want to waste your time graphing this, but you should be able to graph it at home. Go back to your notes for the shortage and surplus. The answer is right here. Okay, this is actually for, we'll make this C. Okay, this is D. Okay, so at the price of 2, you are below equilibrium. Your quantity demanded is bigger than your quantity supplied, so you have a shortage. What should you do to go back to equilibrium? Suppliers will increase price until they reach equilibrium price. Okay, question E, it says when the price is 7. When the price, look here, when the price is 7, are you going to be above equilibrium or below equilibrium? You will be above equilibrium. Go back to your table. When you are at price equals 7, which is bigger, quantity demanded or quantity supplied? Quantity supplied is 7, quantity demanded is 3. So here you have a problem. Quantity supplied is bigger than quantity demanded. عندي زيادة في السوق. We call this surplus أو excess supply. زيادة في السوق. المفروض نعمل إيه عشان نرجع للإكوليبريم؟ لما بيبقى فيه زيادة في السوق والناس مش بتشتري, what happens? السعر بيقل. Prices decrease from 7 until they reach equilibrium price. تمام? So at a price of 7, you are above equilibrium, which means that your quantity supplied is bigger than your quantity demanded. And it means that your prices will fall from 7 until they reach the equilibrium price. Okay, question number 3. Using graphs. Explain what will happen to the equilibrium price and equilibrium quantity of a product as a result of the following. Here we have different scenarios. Number 1, or A, question A, it says what? When you have a rise, okay, what's the first step? What are you going to do even without reading these questions? Again, we said we have 3 steps. Number 1, graph your supply and demand and show equilibrium. Number 2, ask yourself, is this a shift in demand or a shift in supply or a shift in both. And step number 3, show the new equilibrium. So A, it says what? You have a rise in the number of buyers and at the same time a decrease in the cost of producing the product. So here I have two things, but even before I look at the two things, what will I do? I will graph the original supply and the original demand, D1 and S1, D1 and S1. Where is your original equilibrium? It's right here. The point of intersection between the first demand and the second demand. Go back here, it says what? A rise in the number of buyers. A rise in the number of buyers, this is an increase in what? In demand. So you will shift your demand to the right. And at the same time, you have what? A decrease in the cost of producing the products. This is the input price. This is supply. سعر التكلفة قل. دي حاجة كويسة ولا وحشة؟ حاجة كويسة للسبلاير. فهيعمل ايه؟ هيزود السبلاي. So supply will what? Increase and shift to the right. طيب أنا ما بقفش هنا. I have to find the new equilibrium. The new equilibrium is the new intersection point, the new meeting point between the new demand and the new supply, which is right here. Okay, it's right here. I hope this is clear. Okay, let's look at B. It says what? A decrease in the number of suppliers and an increase in the number of buyers. Okay, B. Okay, question B. Again, it's the same idea. However, okay, I don't know yani, why it's doing like this, but let's just keep it as it is. Okay. Question B says what? A decrease in the number of suppliers. But this will shift your supply where? Supply will shift. Again, what's the first step? You will graph demand, you will graph supply, show equilibrium, and then find the shifts. Decrease in number of supplies. This means that your supply will decrease and shift to the left, and an increase in the number of buyers. At the same time, demand will increase and shift to the right. Okay, so this is your answer. Look here. B, you have, okay, first we graph demand, D1 and S1. This is your original equilibrium. This is step number 1. Step number 2, supply will decrease and shift to the left, and at the same time, demand will increase and shift to the right. Where is the new equilibrium? It's the new intersection point between the new demand curve and the new supply curve, right here. Okay. I hope that you practice these using your hands. It will make it much easier. Question C, an increase in the cost of production. This is supplier demand. This is a change in or a shift in supply, which means what? سعر التكلفة زاد. يبقى دي حاجة وحشة. ليه? Because the firm's main goal is to maximize profit. لما سعر التكلفة بيزيد, this is something bad. So supply decreases and shifts to the left. And at the same time, you have a decrease in the consumer income. الدخل بيقل. Let's assume in my good is a normal good. لما الدخل بيقل, إيه اللي بيحصل when you have a normal good? Demand shifts where? Decreases and shifts to the left. Show this on your graph. Question C. سعر التكلفة again هنرسم demand D1 first and S1 ارسموه في أي حتة انتوا عايزينه. It's okay. Okay. أهم حاجة توروني الشيفتس والنيو equilibrium. طيب demand supply قل عشان سعر التكلفة زاد so we shifted to the left. ونمبر 2 الديماند ايه اللي حصل له كان؟ question C برضو الدخل قل فالديماند برضو قل and shifted to the left. طب فين النيو equilibrium؟ The new intersection point between the new supply and the new demand right here. Okay. طيب question D. Advances in technology used to produce the product يبقى عندي technological improvement و at the same time a decrease in the price of a substitute يبقى هنا عندي شفتين برضو. اوكي افكر بقى technology على طول the supply and or demand this is supply حصل technological improvement يبقى supply will increase and shift to the right. طيب at the same time a decrease in the price of a substitute لما سعر السبستيتوت يقل لو أنا عندي منتج تاني الناس هتشتري أنهي منتج بتاعي ولا اللي سعره قل؟ أكيد أنا الديماند بتاعي للمنتج التاني هيقل لأن الناس هتروح تشتري أكتر من المنتج اللي سعره قل. So here demand decreases and shifts to the left. Okay. So you can see this right here. Supply increases and demand decreases. Where is the new, again, you need to show the first equilibrium right here, and then the new equilibrium is where the new demand and the new supply intersect. It's right here. Okay, please graph these at home. It's very important for you to practice them. These are like somehow the very hard questions. Now in your assignment, you will have an easier example. I hope it makes more sense. Again, if you still need more practice, let me know and we'll go over this again and again. I think this is enough for this week. Next week, we will start a new topic on how to measure a country's income. It's very interesting. I hope that this lecture was useful to you. And we need to find a way to meet each other live, I guess, if you have any questions or whatever. Have a nice day. I'll see you soon. Thank you.